doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I was watching Gridiron this weekend, and I think I saw that you were DQ'd in losers. Did I see that right, or
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
what happened there?
Yeah, it wasn't my weekend for Melee, and it boils down to mentality ultimately. Um I got 3-0'd by Den and Winners, and during that set I didn't feel like I implemented anything we've talked about or I've been working on, and I realized I haven't been playing friendlies versus anyone, and I really need to. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But ultimately, uh, that first day of the tournament, I had some experiences playing friendlies that put me in a bad mindset. And then I got 3-0'd, and then I didn't want to drive back the next day and play. So
That's understandable.
yeah, and to going a little further into it, I've, it's been hard coming back as a former top 100 player and struggling with the wobbling ban, and it's a different feeling than coming up from the bottom when you didn't have a taste of the top before.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had wobbling, with the trajectory I was progressing and stuff, I truly believed that I was going to be a top 10 player. And now I don't have the same confidence. So there's a struggle working through that.
I can understand that too. So let me ask you, um, let's say that because I've quit and come back to this game like 8 trillion times. Um, Let me ask you. Let's suppose that you don't make it to top 10. Like, let's say that you can play and improve. Like that's unchanged. But let's say that you never have that same trajectory where you think you're gonna get like all the way to like say like seventh or something or top 10. Is it still something that you would want to do?
Yes. And I've had that internal talk with myself already and
Okay.
shifted my expectations, but it it's not that part anymore. I guess it's just it's hard to keep up, and there's just a lot of narratives like when I was playing friendlies. Like when I play friendlies, I get pretty autistically into it. Like I just want to be silent and focus on things and not talk at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the first friendly I played with someone on our local PR, he took the friendly and he just turns around and he smirks at me. And like that alone just puts me in a terrible mindset because I feel like I have to say something or they're like reaction farming me, and I just that buzzed me. And then the next game, I lost the friendly, and my friend came behind me, and he was like, "Oh, you're getting owned" or whatever. And the third game, there was more comments like that, and it was just like, man, even just playing friendlies is like, it's like hard. It's hard mentally these days.
Yeah. So I guess the big thing there is why do we have to interact with them? Like you said, the first. Let's start with the first one. So like he looks at you and smirks and is like, you feel like you have to interact with that or do something. Why is that?
It just stems from a social thing.
Okay, but like I feel like not responding is also like a pretty widely agreed upon acceptable social answer in a lot of situations. I don't see why this one's different.
I guess it's just hard with certain people who are like, we're not on the same wavelength of like friendly, like why we're playing the friendlies. So it just, I guess I just have these. It's like I don't want to come off as rude. I mean, I know ideally as a competitor, I should be completely selfish and just do what I need to do to improve. But I do struggle with the social aspect of that.
Okay, so let me let you in on a secret. That's not really a secret. You probably already know this, but um, the vast majority of things that people do are for themselves. And I don't mean that in like that makes them innately selfish kind of way. I just mean that like even if we're doing something for someone else, we're doing them within the parameters of what we consider acceptable. So like we're still putting there's still that lens of us is impossible to remove, right? I think you and I can
Mhm.
agree on that. So the question you got to ask is if that guy is smirking because it's more for him than it is for me, well, um real, like, what are, like, does it matter why he's doing it if the reason we're playing here is to just have a good time, and the way that we have a good time is by being a little bit more just like, as you said, like, focused on it, right? Why should his smirk, because we don't even know if it was, like, for all we know, he's just like, yo, that was like a sick edgeguard. Like, that could be it. That could be the end of it. It could be like, yo, like, I clutched it. I clutched it. That was pretty sick. What a good friendly. It could also be, yo, you suck. We have no way of knowing which one it is. So if our goal is to just get focused into it, it seems like a very... I think more outcomes are probably positive than not. And even if there aren't, even if that's not the case, that just means we have to make a judgment call about whether we keep playing there. But I think that for something like a smirk, it's just, we have to make too many assumptions or engage to understand, and we don't want to engage anyway. So I just don't see why that should impact your play experience.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Everything you're saying on paper is correct. And I didn't stand up and walk away the moment that happened. It was the things that compounded afterwards, and
yeah, no, it's never just one thing. It's always like, I get it, but I guess my question is if you know yourself, if you know in your heart that you're just not really up for, like, dealing with these people, do you think that there's something to be gained from just saying, like there's surface level interactions, I think, that, like, we can use to, like, help insulate that if you're worried about coming off as standoffish, but, like, that doesn't mean you have to necessarily engage them.
Yeah.
It's like, if he smirks at you, can be like, yeah, you got me, and then, like, move on.
It used to be so much easier. I used to just wobble people in friendlies, not care at all for hours, and I think I've thought about it over and over, and the only difference is because I had a taste of the top, and now I have these narratives, and I have this pesky ego that is making it hard mentally to improve in the way that I improved in the past when I didn't have this mental baggage.
Well, not only that, but, like, learning methods have also come a long way from when we, had to rub Pikachus together just to power the CRT. Nowadays, nowadays we have a laboratory you can download from Google or GitHub that, like, has literally all of the buttons and toggles for stage features, like the environment collision, hitboxes, frame by frame. You can, like, slow the game down to its, like, to its individual steps. Like, all of these things are things that weren't really around when we played at, like, top level.
Right. I had 20XX when I was around.
Yeah, and, like, I think that we can, like, Uncle Punch is tremendously sophisticated by comparison. So, I mean, I don't think it's surprising that, like, the learning rate could be different for all kinds of reasons, I guess, is what I'm saying, is another thing I want to kind of, like, touch upon. And not all of those reasons are because there's something, like, it could just be that this is a challenging meta. But the only way that you're going to find out what the reason for it is, and whether or not that reason even matters, is if we kind of put our own ego aside and just accept the challenge for what it is.
True. And these are all conclusions I've come to on my own, and then in practice, I don't follow through.
Right, because we get disrupted. It's really easy to have a perfect solution in the lab. So we need steps we can take, I think, that allow us to navigate these situations so that we can... Because ultimately, like, if you are taking steps that help smooth over the social interaction on a surface level so you can get the practice and warm-up you need, then who cares, right? It's not like you're being fake. You're still doing this for you. It's not like you're delving too deep into this. Like, you don't have to invest yourself to just, like, smooth over some of this nonsense.
Yeah. And I think another part that I've concluded is just, like, I don't play friendlies at all with people, really, ever. And if I just got my ass kicked a little more from more people and characters and just got humbled a bit, I think that would help too. Plus, it would just help me implement all this shit.
Agreed.
So I need to implement like an actual consistent routine. And the other thing I wanted to bring up, and you mentioned Uncle Punch, was I never really fully understood or learned how to use like save states in Uncle Punch.
Okay. Is that something you want to work on?
If you have a video that explains that, I can watch the video so we don't have to spend coaching time on that.
Sure.
But
so I don't have a video, but I imagine that if anything by KJH for Uncle Punch is probably really good. Like, yeah, like I just did KJH Uncle Punch, and there's like there's a ton of videos on like let me do replay real quick. Let's narrow this down. Practice session. So I don't see it with Uncle Punch, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure like Uncle Punch replay. Yeah, like there's guides out here. I just don't know I just don't use them personally, so I don't know which one's good. I've kind of just ramshackled my way into like knowing roughly how it works. So,
okay.
It does look like there's guides out there. So, yeah. It's kind of like I can dig around and see if there's one that makes sense, but or you can take a look see. And
I like really dumbed down instructions when it comes to anything technological. I'm not a tech guy at all. So
okay.
like the whole like saving thing, and I hear people say they have these whole sequence of things saved that they can just download and like put in there, like, and using like SD cards or whatever. All that stuff kind of just, I don't know how to do that shit off the top of my head.
So here's one that I found that says how to make simple Uncle Punch save states in 1 minute. I think that like this is probably your speed.
Yeah, that sounds like it's my speed.
Okay. And if there's a need for more sophistication, we can tackle that when we get to it. But I think that's a good starting point. So talk to me about coaching time then. What do you have in mind today?
Okay. Well, I have my one set that I got 03'd on. I think it's only on Twitch, which sucks. But I'm not too excited about even looking at it because I already know it's a shameful performance. And I just, what's that?
I said, why is it how is it a shameful performance? You went to a regional and someone beat you. Like,
I just remember thinking like, this is another instance where I'm feeling like I can't read the person. I'm just swinging and I'm missing and they're just drill shining me and killing me fast. And I can't. It was one of those tournaments where everyone was easy up until them, and then I feel like I just could never get a lead or get any momentum going. And I know I wasn't doing any dash dance blizzards, which is a big problem.
Yeah, you need that to like control the like Fox's like direct path into you.
Yes. I kind of got tunnel visioned on some ideas like void blocking versus Fox, even though it wasn't in great spots and I got punished for it. And I just came out of it knowing that like I didn't implement really anything intentionally, and it was just panic option and swinging around and lots of embarrassing just swinging the hammer around that I'm not proud of.
What does your self-talk sound like when you're playing those matches?
I'm hopeful in the moment. I'm not. I don't get doom and gloom in the moment. I try very hard up until a point. I do get strategic with it where I don't try hard if I feel like the comeback is just too ginormous for the amount of energy that I would have to expend. I do surrender some matches that way, but it's more of just general uncertainty of what's going on, and then after the fact being like, man, I could have done so much better, thinking back on what was actually happening. I feel like it was just drill shines, and then I think, well, he can't just run up and threaten those so easily if I'm doing blizzards, and then I realized I wasn't doing any blizzards, and then it's just like, well, that was just a silly missed opportunity set where I didn't implement anything that I should have. And then it made me realize I probably wasn't doing that because I was falling back on comfort options because I haven't been playing enough friendlies to make the better options, the comfort options, and then it was just a cascading thing from there. But the self-talk during the actual games, I try to stay very strategic and not lose hopey about it.
Okay. What happens if you don't put that much effort? Because like I get the impression that you're putting a lot of effort. There's a lot going on in your head when you're like playing from the sounds of it. Like you're kind of juggling the pressure of needing to do the new options. You've mentioned that there's a chance that like, you know, we doom spiral, so we like steer the conversation elsewhere into strategy. And I gotta say that like with all of those things plus more going on, I don't know if it's even necessarily Fox. I feel like you're overwhelming you.
It's possible. That's generally my personality, regardless of Melee in general. It's very constant running thoughts, but it would be good to probably just look. I used to do so many good things that I don't do now, which that's an easy thing to identify and fix. But I used to just look at my matchup notes before I would play a hard player with that matchup and just refresh my mind on the good stuff. And yeah, I should definitely start doing that again.
Yeah, so what are the good stuff? What's the good stuff versus Fox?
So I have been thinking about this, and ever since I had the lesson with Fiction about wave dashing around more, I feel less comfortable against Fox. I used to be a very micro placement short hop bear, auto cancel bear, knock him down, get a tech chase, wobble him, and I used to get great mileage off of that. And I've talked myself out of that playing that style, and I feel like I need to go back to that now. Because if not for anything, I just learned how to do it well. Okay. And maybe that's not the most valid reason to go back to that, but I thought short hop bear versus Fox was amazing, and since the Fiction lesson of being told to wave dash around and be more mobile, for some reason he said I would attack in place too much, and I would with the short hop bears, so I just stopped doing that. So
I have a thought.
That was kind of a ramble, but
what if we took a look at what MOF does in the matchup? Because she played Panda at CEO. Maybe we could extract some insights there.
Let's do that, because we haven't studied a better ice climber yet on one of these calls.
Yeah, so let's and I've looked at MOF before for Trail, and she's excellent. So. And then Panda's also, like, really good. Like, I think he got...
Yes.
Yeah, so, like, these are great players. Like, let's take a look at what they come up with.
It's one of those things where, in theory, Fox is so much better and just will blow up ice climbers. But
what do you think the matchup ratio is? Like 65-35, 70-30, something like that?
Can you pause it while I answer that?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, they haven't started. Are you asking theoretically or, like, what the actual data says about player history?
Oh, so I would go with the current meta. So basically counting the last maybe year or two of data, adjusting for levels of play. So obviously we don't have like in case like MOF is just beating up for some random Fox or something. Like,
yes.
So adjusting for skill level, yeah. Like who wins on average? And by how much?
Is this the same question as who wins the matchup generally, or is this a different question than that?
I mean, like I go by. So I usually isolate it to a year or two because I don't want us like dipping into like eons ago. But other people do more theoretical. I'm more interested in win rate based on the meta.
Okay. I would guess that ice climbers have a pretty green win rate against the entire cast, including Fox.
Okay. And that's even adjusting, like, so even if we, like, isolate to, like, players who are good at the matchup or with experience, like, that would still hold true? Or does it, like, change based on, like, if we isolate for those factors? No, we'll talk about this afterwards. Let's look at, like, let's not get dragged into that tangent during coaching time. But it's a question I like to kind of like wonder about, because it's like, what is a win rate? What is a winning matchup? So
Yeah, and I think the entire ecosystem of the competitive game is filled with data gaps that it's just really hard to say.
you kind of need theory to like kind of like fill in some of those gaps, I find.
Yes.
I really like how... So I like how she has a good... She uses their haymakers well in good moments. So I think that like the thing like this, it's simple, but like I like how she plays this overall situation. Like how she gets that and then just goes off.
I would be, to me, going for wave dash down smash here does not seem intuitive or even good, in my opinion.
So what do you not like about it?
For one, the Fox was actually way actionable before that and could have simply dashed away and it would have been a complete whiff, and then they could have been drill shined and dead.
Okay. That's fair. So why do you think he doesn't act?
My guess would be is maybe he's... Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't, but my guess would be maybe he wants to crouch cancel a short hot bear and then punish. Maybe he's waiting for the wave dash and he's just going to time a shine and he just messed up the timing. But honestly, I'm not sure why he would just crouch here.
I think you had it the first time. He's looking for short hop bear. Because if they short up bear into him, then they're going to be bared out of the air, right? So then they're going to get shined over here.
Yes.
And they can probably die.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's just willing to like take the risk because he's up a stock. So he's willing to risk 22 damage for like possibly being up 2 stocks.
The other thing is, I don't know. Can we see how many frames Fox was just standing there in a crouch?
I mean, I don't think YouTube is going to be like 60 frames per second, but like a long time. Like basically a year.
It would never occur to me to go for that. I would just think the Fox is about to just jump away and then I'd whiff, or you just run away and I'd whiff. It seems like a very YOLO thing, and I'm not a YOLO. Theoretically, in my mind, I don't like YOLO options, but lately I've been open to the possibility that could be my missing ingredient.
Well, I think it almost...
I do see in hindsight now how it can lead to a tech chase wobble, but I would have never seen that or thought to go for that in that position.
No, and I get that, but I think that, like, what you said there about, like, how it might be the missing piece, I almost think it certainly is. Like, what else could it be? Like, if not that, then what could it be, right? Because the YOLO options represent an entire, like, section of the game that you're not really representing in your play. That's not a small thing. Like, as SFAT once told me, everyone needs a little weirdness.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because if you just do the correct thing over and over again, then it means that somebody can just beat you by doing the even more correct thing. Because, like, we have to assume that, like, ice climbers don't win all of their matchups, right? So, like, if they do the correct thing, or the thing that they're expected to do because it's highest efficiency on average, and then the opponent responds with, like, with their thing, which in a matchup that's favorable, like, I feel like there's certain risks that we have to accept as necessary when we're playing a character like this.
Then the question is, when do you present the YOLO option?
I don't know. That's what we're trying to find out. When Fox is crouching under the platform, apparently. Like, not what I had on my bingo card either, but hey. I do like how Panda's playing this. Like, other than that opening stock. So what I notice about her with how MOF like spaces in general is she does a good job of keeping her climbers together, I'm not totally sure how she's doing it, but I feel like when they're getting hit, or when she's getting hit around on this next stock, she does for her. She's just always like kind of coordinated with her Nana. You'll see what I mean, I think. So that back air is one that you would do. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, even when
I used to just spam back air knockdowns and get honey off of that.
Well, yeah. And I mean, like,
and you can dash shield stop micro position them. You can get a I don't have to tell you. And I like that play style.
And there's no reason it can't work, like, with this, but the thing is, like, you're still working with, like, you're still working with footsie spacings, right? Like, you're working with, like, incremental footsie spacings. But, like, what wave dash down smash does is it lets you, like, extend, like, significantly beyond that. That's the perk. So one of them is for controlling space, like, close by, and then the other one is for going further, but the wave dash one also has the perk of you stay on the ground, which is quite valuable. In addition to staying on the ground, you also, like, knock over earlier, which also important. That sucks. Yeah, I think another thing to consider is that, like, by wave dashing into someone, you have access to more threats overall. Like, you have your grab, you've got your jab, you've got all your smash attacks. You've got your grab, you've got your jab grab. Like, I don't know. Is it really that difficult to imagine why, like, going beyond your, like, base range with your bair and up air might be good?
I mean, I can see it being good. I just, in that spot, I would have been scared because it didn't seem like a whiff punish, like a whiff. It just seemed like Fox was actionable, and it was more like a read.
It was.
And I guess
100% it was a read.
It feels like an all-in read, though.
That is what it is. To be clear, I'm not sure I agree with her play. I'm just saying that, like, I see why she went for it and it worked out. So, like, there's definitely more merit to it than I thought. Would I go for a read that risky? I don't know, because, like, I feel like if the Fox is just crouching there, we also could have grabbed. But, like, and I think that's my bigger my bigger, like, point with it. But then I'm also like, but I mean,
I don't know how I would get my mind. That's why I'm asking, like, how do I know when to do the YOLO thing? Because that seemed like it was. I've heard the theory of go for the wild stuff early, set the pace that you're crazy, and then stop doing it. I've heard the opposite, to make it like a secret trick in the box, in the jigsaw box.
You just have to listen to your heart and do what it says. Because, like, this is a human element of the game. It's not one that's, like, this is a human element of the game. Like, sometimes you just know. It's like love. Sometimes you just know they're going to tech in place. It's just
true.
Yeah, like, it's not something that I can explain the way that we would Dash Dance Blizzard into neutral and how it informs a neutral game structure, because it just isn't that kind of play. It is a part of the game that is a little bit softer, and we just have to be okay with that. That's it. It's not always going to make sense. Like, it's not always going to make perfect sense.
See, that bothers me as someone who prides himself on being logical.
You know,
I feel like I understand.
And you know what? I was the same way. Like, I don't know if you realize this, but Boyd, I'm a nerd. Like, so I assure you, I completely get the whole idea of, like, I need to know, like, I have to get it. There has to be a logic. There has to be a purpose. Like, more than anyone that any coach on the market other than Fiction and Drugged Fox, like, I get it. But the thing is, you can't, like, see a player like Mango be at the top of the game for, like, so long, who is, like, very much not a nerd on these kinds of things, and see him be successful for so long without kind of having to concede that there is sort of a logic to the chaos to like at least being aware of the like acknowledging and accepting the chaos of the human elements of the game, because at the end of the day, like, not every decision we make is logical, because humans aren't perfectly logical, because we have like panic responses, we have like they're a huge part of like psychology, like the like the flight or flight, and just like freeze and fawn, and just how we like how our instinctual responses shape you know, our quick decision making. And I think that if we acknowledge that that is that's a thing, and that it is ultimately, and it can manifest itself here with this being a conflict driven game played by humans, yeah, we should be prepared for, you know, we should be prepared for things that don't necessarily make sense strictly in the game side of things, but they might make sense in the human side. Like, there's lots of people who, like, freeze up when they're under pressure. There's lots of people who go out swinging no matter how bad of an idea it is. There's people who try to, like, accommodate the other person, thinking that that's solution. There's other people who run and try to book it. And a lot of times those plays don't make sense in this game, but that's also why they're panic responses.
That all makes sense.
It doesn't have to, though. That's the beauty of it.
Well,
I'm joking. Don't read into that one. What makes sense there? Talk to me.
Well, I feel like there has to be a way for me to set up my own chaos in a way that has a higher probability of succeeding. And I basically just mean conditioning by that.
Yeah, so conditioning actually is a good word here. So conditioning is basically like we recreate the same situation and then like put different cues in, and also and through a mix of those cues and observations we see what the opponent's doing, right? And then we can read them later. More or less. That's kind of its goal.
Mm-hmm.
So
my big question with conditioning has always been like, one, so people do options, and sometimes they're very aware of why they're doing them, and sometimes it's like a panic option that we were talking about. Mm-hmm. One, how do you, when I'm trying to read someone's neutral to come up with the right solution in the future, how do you know which options they are consciously thinking about when they're doing them? Two, is that even important? Three, how do you know what they're paying attention to from you, so you know what to change up to stay a step ahead of them? And is that even important to know?
So I would say that, so let's start with the first one. So how do you know what things that they're, so what was the first item? Like how do you know what things they're like changing up on, like what things they're changing up on you, or what decisions they're making consciously versus not consciously?
Right. So let's say they do a tournament winner.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for most people that's a mistake, but I think there's a few characters where it's a decent option. So then how would I know that? I don't know if that's the best example, but like, how do I know when someone's doing something and it's not just a tech flub, it's not just something that they're not thinking about? Like,
you don't. You have to. It's a hypothesis.
Okay.
So, so a lot of what we do in this game is basically just like hypothesis testing over and over and over again. So like what I mean by that is, let's say you have a Jigglypuff let's say you're fighting Jigglypuff, right? Because Jigglypuff is a character where we have to make like a certain amount of reads in order to get her. So she's wafting in the air around us, where she's usually back air, like she back airs a bunch of times. We're counting the back airs. She lands on the third one, right? Like she jumps up, back airs,
mm-hmm.
double jump back airs one more time, so she's done 3 in total. And then she decides to fall with the next back air. We're just doing ice wall, like we're just like wave dashing around, we're just like taking a look, but she keeps doing it. So then we go in and wave dash forward and hit her. We do like we hit her with like say double F smash. Then on the next one, she starts doing 3 back airs. No, sorry. Instead of doing the 4, she does 3. So jump up, and this time only it's just like jump up, double jump back air, falling back air. It's like it's more reserved. We don't actually really know if she's making that change to her pattern because we hit her or not. We can make an inference, but we ultimately can't actually know if that's why she's changed it or not. Because all we have, like, we can make a good guess. We can make, like, the evidence would suggest, yes, that is what happened. But we can't actually know. Because the only way that we can truly know and have confirmation is if they tell us.
Yes.
So there is always going to be a certain degree of uncertainty in any of these situations when it comes to, like, human elements. And the other thing is even if we did know, because they're humans, they can change. So it's not so much as, like, figuring them out once and being good with it. It is supposed to be, like, we notice, okay, cool, they do this. It's supposed to be, like, an evolving system, in my opinion.
Yes. That's a good way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
An ever-evolving puzzle.
Yeah. Let's watch this one and see if we can figure out anything about this Fox player and how he's, like, approaching the matchup. Because I think we're, like, by focusing on MOF, maybe it isn't the best use of our time. Let's, like, look at how the Fox, like, at what the Fox is doing. Because I think that we need to understand our opponent better, not us better. I think we're good. I think we're good with us. But it's the opponent that's a problem. So, what vibe are you getting from him? Like, if you had to describe how his, like, character's movement feels, like how it, like, what is he moving with confidence? Is he moving, like, with fear? Like, what's his deal?
I would say he's moving very. I would say the Fox is moving very walking on eggshelly because he's full hopping, like, every time there's a scrap, which that's something I struggle. I see this and I feel MOF's pain. This happens to me all the time where the Fox, I'm getting close to the Fox and he just jumps over my thing and he lands on me with an aerial, and I know my up air is the thing to go for, but, you know, that leaves me open to just, like, running shine, which Panda's also been doing. Yeah. So it feels like a very jumpy Fox who's getting in there, getting the shine, getting in those scraps, and then full hopping a lot when he's in between them and stuff, and then coming back down.
Cool.
I struggle with that type of evasive, jumpy Fox, where I feel like I have to read their drift. I have to actually read them jumping. They're mixing in some running in shines. So, like, I feel like I can't just do a short hop up air willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Whenever I get one running shined, I always think I need to read that next time and get it and grab them for it and then take their stock for it. I feel like that's a stock taker moment in the future if I'm ready for it. So maybe I'm over looking for that option at that point, and then I don't do more up airs when I should be. I kind of went on a tangent there, but
no, that's
Fox
good.
Is jumpy.
So Fox is jumpy, and he clearly knows what he's doing, right? Like, in terms of how he's, like, navigating the mix-ups.
Yes, it seems like he's I'm trying to think of a good analogy. He's just, like, sticking his finger in the boiling water and pulling it out, you know, before he's getting burned.
Yeah, he has a very strong sense of, like, how he's supposed to time and space here. So this is a very challenging opponent, no question about it. The one thing I would kind of ask you is, you talked about, like, back air and, you know, so you talked about grab and up air being, like, kind of the things. What do you think about, like, using short hop as your starting point for, like, as your starting point for neutral once you're in position? Because what I'm thinking here is, if we short hop and don't, like, commit to, like, either action right away, we can still up air with our double jump or up air defensively to guard from the Fox full hop. And then if he comes in at us with running shine, we still have back air, which is less risky than grab. So are there ways that we can multitask this to cover, like, more relevant options, I guess?
One, that I wouldn't be able to do the short hop up air. I would have to do the double jump because I have to commit to that up air like a frame after I jump or it won't auto cancel.
But does it always have to auto cancel?
No. It's just it's okay. Good thought there because this is where I get like logic brained and I think like, all right, the least laggy thing, always do it.
Yeah.
So I cut myself off from L canceled short hop up airs.
Yeah, and like L canceled and what that means is that you can't fall with them as freely, which can matter if you're trying to like do a low percent up air grab or something, right?
Yeah. The other thing, based off of our conversation of YOLO options, is after seeing a jumpy fox, a YOLO up smash could lead to a grab that leads to a stock in one of those scraps.
I really like the idea of up smash because it also has like if you use the back, if you face away, like it has the back hitbox for covering the running shine too.
It actually can cover everything.
Yeah.
Potentially.
So we have a single option that is riskier in terms of its cooldown, but it's higher active high active frames and like arc and impact allow it to actually contest effectively in the spot that we're having trouble with.
Yeah.
Like
and
that,
pivot up.
Go ahead.
Pivot up smash desync has been on my list of things to try to experiment implementing.
Ooh, which one is that?
You dash forward, you pivot up smash with Popo, and Nana doesn't do anything. So then you just make her do whatever during your up smash.
Oh, that seems really good.
It is. I think it is really good. It's just there's so many things that I need to do that are really good, including the novel, which I tried at the tournament and some friendlies, and I was just dropping everyone, which further reinforced that I just really need to grind friendlies.
I agree. Let's look at what she did on that last stock, because I feel like that was a good showing from her, like how she from this position, because this is like hard, like Fox, like so Icy's responding to Fox at 2-2 on a stadium transformation. So what does she do to get the hit? So she like Blizzard desyncs, she guards her airspace, Fox gets in anyway, messes up the thing because of Pokemon, gets the Blizzard out again, counter hits. Okay. So I feel like the Fox is like playing pretty well defensively. She's just kind of like, she's going for a lot of like ambitious hits, and then gets a jab grab.
Yeah. I do feel like there was a lot of Fox messing up in that sequence, but I did see the wave dash grab on the up smash shield that could have very easily led into a tech chase.
Yeah.
There did look like moments there where Fox could have pushed harder on that edge guard.
Yeah. So I guess on this stock, let's see what's going on this one.
And that's another thing that I guess is worth talking about is when I watch Chewdad and DizKid, I feel like I understand what they're going for, and I understand their strategy in a good way, but also potentially that could be bad because I'm actually figuring it out. With Bananas and Slug, they feel random to me, which I thought maybe that's what they want. But I don't, when I watch them, it's hard for me to figure out if they did something intentionally good or if the other player just messed up, and then I don't know what to take away from the viewing experience.
Do you have any examples where that's come up?
This set?
No, I mean like versus, do you have any examples where you were watching Slug where that happened?
A lot of his games, honestly.
Let's just pick a random one then. You good with that?
Yeah.
So Slug, he played Chem, right?
I will say it was more about a year or so ago, and lately it seemed like he was less wave dash down smashy, which who knows if that's even a valid criticism based off of what we were talking about earlier today. But when I watch Chudat, I see the micro short hot bears. I see the F tilts, the low commit options that lead to the big money. That makes sense to me. I see the same from DizKid.
Okay, but like, so when you watch him, we won't have to watch this whole thing, but when you watch like him at Creed here,
Okay.
like he's like, if we start this game from the beginning, do you see like does what he does make sense? Like, so that seems like straightforward. Like what
this sort of seems run of the mill so far.
Yeah. So
the only thing that I kind of questioned was that first wave dash down smash, but I guess he had a read on what the Fox was looking at when they were separated.
So wait, which wave dash down smash is it here? Like,
it's when his Nana gets separated. I believe it's before this.
Okay, cool. So let's go back.
It's really early on. It's like right here.
So that wave dash down smash was confusing?
From where I come from, yes.
Nana was hit, and it's his fastest, highest impact knockdown move.
Can you go back to it? Yeah.
Yeah, so like he's basically just trying to like protect her. That's it. Like while she's coming back, he's trying to like he just missed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he's basically like the other thing here is that like it's kind of okay for them to get shined together here, because even if he misses the down smash, they're probably getting shined on the same side because there's been a hitbox, because he's put a hitbox like in a spot protecting them. Because of that, they're just gonna get pushed to the right. No, they're just gonna get pushed away. Like to the left anyhow. So I think that this is just he's just trying not to like. He's trying to make sure that like what Fox can hit him with isn't like anything too fancy. That like like if he jumps for back air there, for example, it's unlikely that anything happens there, but he still is going into the air. And I think that he wants to avoid that, because I think that for him, like, to not have access to ASCI down in a spot like where he's trying to reconnect with Nana, that's like that seems probably very dangerous, especially if he's at like low percent and it stands to be like a huge swing. That's my take on it. I'm not totally sure, but like I think that's.
I guess I just need to get down smash pilled.
What do you have against that move? It's really good.
I used to spam it back in the day, but then I would just die too much for doing it. They would just jump over it and I would be stuck in lag, and then I would think, why don't I just do a bear instead? I have no lag afterwards. It can still lead to a grab most of the time. Okay. And then I just, in my mind, it's like that just becomes a bad option when there's quicker, less committal options that can often lead to the same prize.
Back air is not quicker than down smash, though.
Well, not quicker coming out. True.
Yeah, and that matters. Like, think about like, okay, so I'll give you. So here's a simple one. So why down smash over back air? Because it hits in windows that back air will not be able to like whiff punish, and down smash will, because it's faster. So like take Fox's Nair for example. Fox's Nair L cancels for 7 frames. Back air does not come out like back air. You need like I think it hits on 8, and then you need another 3 for the jump squat. Plus, like assuming you get there with the wave dash, you're looking at like 11 frames versus a 7 frame like hit window. Down smash hits on 6. Like that matters a lot.
I can concede that for whiff punishes for sure, but like that one was trying to hit Fox in the wild when he wasn't committed to anything, and those are the ones that I'm afraid of. The throwing him out in neutral when it's just like, oh, I think I can get a read on his movement.
And I get that. I think that this is the type of thing where you do have to experiment with it, though, because like I think that we can agree that when Fox is out in the wild and is actionable, there is still a risk involved with going for a slower option, or like an option that is slower up front, namely that he has more time to like hit you, or like do his own action, because it's not just a matter of cooldown, right? It's not just a matter of after the fact. It's also a matter of like what happens going into it.
Yeah, I guess it just seems like it was easier for me as a heuristic to stick with bear, just because I feel like I want to say more often than not that less lag time is more beneficial than the extra frame you save on startup,
I would agree
or
with
however
that.
many frames it is.
I would agree with that. Like, I think that it is generally better to have low lag moves than it is to have like slightly better startup. Absolutely. I'm just saying that, like, especially in a game that's been developing like for 20 years, like an unpatched fighting game that's been developing for 20 years, I think it's reasonable to assume that like look at that. This would not have worked off of like this does not have worked off of like a back air. Like, this entire opening is not possible with back air. So in this situation, the higher, like, generally I'd say back air provides like, has better, like, the lower lag is valuable. This is a situation where it isn't, because we need the for Slug to make this work, he needs the knockdown right then and there. And back air does not provide that.
Man, that's another one where I would have never gone for it.
Mm-hmm. Also, think about like look, that's another. He's gonna get another kill.
That one is a different story. I get those too, where I walk and they just land behind me and I down smash them, or I'd move slightly. I'm fine with those. It's more of the wave dash away from center stage at them and going for the down smash. Or honestly, looking back at MOFs, because she was wave dashing towards center stage, I feel like I'm more cozy with that in my mind as like an option to do.
Okay. It's when they're in the corner that you go for wave dash down smash that you're not really a fan of it. Could it also be that, like, with the opponent, down smash hits both sides of you, so maybe that's part of it. Like, the fact that if they try to run by you, down smash actually has better coverage in the immediate space around you. I don't know. This I'm not fully sure what, like, well, I think that this is really the type of thing where you just have to do it. Like, I think I don't know. Cuz I don't even think that they're doing it all that much. Like, and I think that's part of why it works. Like, they're wave dashing in, like, most of the time they're using back airs and stuff to, like, guard that space. So I feel like when they don't cut the wave dash short with walk or whatever, it is because that they've, like, kind of like had a chance to feel them out with their other options, or get them used to do those other options. I don't even see Slug going for it all that much.
No, not anymore, at least.
Maybe that, and you know what? Maybe that was an adaptation, but like, he's still going it for it occasionally. So perhaps that's the secret. We have to do it, just not all the time. Like, just once in a while. Just here and there, as appropriate.
Well, I'll definitely start thinking about it more.
So what do you think about this wave dash jab grab? Because this is pretty all in. Right? So what's the difference with this one then?
What's the difference?
Yeah, like, or is there a difference? Like, would you classify that as just as like, I don't get it, or because I feel like jab is also pretty risky.
I agree. Jab does come with its different set of risks, but I do think it's important to mix in, because one, you can't just let them run around without checking them on that, in my opinion, because it's such a fast thing that can lead into a grab if they are sleeping on it, and you can't cut yourself off from that option. And it seems less committal than the down smash. So I just like it more in that sense as well.
Yeah, but you also don't get
that down smash right there. I would say that the Sopo down smash you just saw, that would be more classically what I think of when I see, like, oh, that's the kind of, like, ice climber play I don't understand, where they just try to down smash the fox in neutral.
Oh, this one I don't agree with. This one I think this one I think was like not good. Cause like he's in the corner, like I feel like this was just a ledge dash down, like a ledge dash down smash. Oh no, he got on stage. Okay, cool. But I think this one was just I want to hit the fox. I wouldn't read too much into that one.
Okay, I mean I will admit I think his neutral is a lot more tight than what I remember. I do remember a lot more just wave dashing around with down smashes, honestly. Yeah. But that was over a year ago.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you still got them. Like, this opening here, I think, like, so he goes for... He gets a down smash, like, on the previous stock. I think it's, like, this. So he gets this. I think it's this down smash. That one was crazy. So that one was just, like, a whiff punish on the nair. Like, he had to, like, call it out, but that seems to be what that was. I don't know, like, I feel like a lot of... The other thing I want to kind of point... I'd also kind of caution with this character is that I feel like a lot of these down smashes, like, some of them might be meant to, like, kind of punish things, but because of how their movement is kind of clunky, it might just be that they're going for them at, like... They might be going for them with the intention of whiff punishing some of the time, but they're just, like, off, or, like, the opponent reacts and, like, changes gears. I don't know. There's, like, there's a lot that can... It's just a haymaker. It's just a big, powerful move that we like can throw at the opponent sometimes.
Yeah, which, in my mind, you have me forward air pilled on being that kind of option.
Yeah, but forward air doesn't come out like this fast.
I know, but it covers so much more. Yeah. And it can lead to a lot.
I know, but like the thing is, down smash doesn't have to.
Especially when you void block the fairs. When you just, instead of doing ice block, you do fairs and you space them out with the ice climbers, they cover so much.
I know. But they're also slow. Like, at the end of the day, that like we need fast timings. Like, I think that, like, part of why I honestly think that, like, the more you describe this, I think the reason you're getting run over so much is that we have a void for, like, quick options. Like,
do you consider Shaq Bear a quick option?
I think it is, relatively speaking, fast. But I think that, like, if we can, like, remember, all of this is relative, right? So, like, you're not doing this versus Ice Climbers options. You're doing this versus Fox, Sheik, Marth, Falcon, Falco, Jigglypuff's options.
When Fox has a shine, how does everything is inferior?
Well, that's true, but that notwithstanding, my point is the difference between 6 and 11 is pretty big when it comes to dealing with Fox, because 6 will beat his grab and up smash and also, like, hit him out of like 6 beats his grab and up smash. It hits him out of his down tilt. It hits, like, all of his L cancel timing, like, timing windows. Yeah, like, all of those things are important. Whatever fair has a lot of things going on, but it's just not really a scrapping tool because of these limitations. You know, because of its startup time limitations. Whereas wave dash down smash it can be. And it also is, like, a really powerful, impactful hit up front, which means that it doesn't have to necessarily do the work of, like, leading to a follow-through for it to, like, leading to, like, a very sophisticated or, like, coordinated follow-through in order for it to do something useful. And I think that attribute should not be underestimated, just because, like, a lot of times we're not going to have our Nanas, like, fully synced up. A lot of times we're not going to, like, they're going to hit the defense on the jab or the fair, and we're not going to get the conversion. And in those situations, we're going to really long for the simplicity of just whacking him really, really hard.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
You don't like this. But
well, hey, I'll like it if I need to see, I need to feel it in game, but I'm gonna throw out some F smashes because it covers above and it could catch those jumpy foxes.
Do both.
I What?
Do both.
I honestly, if you were to watch that Den game, I feel like I did a lot of down smashing that was just pathetic. And
Let's pull that up. Do you have the? Do you have?
I would hate to abuse your time though. We're already above. We could always do this next week.
Send me the set. I'll watch like 5 seconds of it on my own time, and if it's really bad, then we don't have to go over it. But like, I really I know that this is going to be super duper scary, and I know that you have like a very busy mind in general. I'm going to challenge you to just play some games versus some people, like versus some fun opponents that you find fun to play against. Some like Fox players that you find fun but challenging to play against. And just make a commitment that we're going to go for F smashes and down smashes, like where they seem appropriate. And I want you to, and I know this will be hard, but I really want you to just let go. Just try, like, don't try to do things, just play, just do them. And if you find yourself naturally making observations, that's fine, because there's no mistakes here. It's just, I think you need to learn how to play without like so much going on upstairs, because I think that you are overwhelming yourself, and I think that's why we're like gravitating towards options that have such like swath that offer such like immense coverage, because I feel like you're just I get the impression you're really overwhelmed a lot before you even, like, just as, like, before the game even says go. And I think that if we can create a calmer space upstairs, or, like, a less high-pressure state, and like, setting upstairs, it will go a long way for having you think, like, focus your thinking on the things that you need to focus it on.
Yes. That's definitely the goal for my upcoming tournaments.
Sometimes trying harder is not the solution. Sometimes we just need to. Sometimes it is actually to vibe. And I know that sounds super, super weird, but there is a logic to easing up, because it lets us see things without, like, from further back, like from a different perspective. And I think that's that's something that could really help you. Along with, because that's also kind of the function of humility. It takes us out of like where we are or where we were and lets us be more in the present. I really think that's the biggest thing you need right now.
I will work on that.
Okay. You go to it. If you need any help with it, or like want clarity or resources, hit me up. But I really, like, again, please just try just playing. I swear, I would not pull your leg on this. But will you be okay from here?
Yeah, I sent you the video, and it's funny because I see that I took a stock from a down smash starter.
I understand.
You know, I am not. I would like to say that I am surprised. And I am. Because I actually thought, I don't know. I feel like, I'm surprised you told me that. I'm actually really happy you told me that. Because, yeah, if nothing else, it shows me that you're at least, like, you're willing to admit that far that there might be some merit to this. But I'll let you go figure it out, like, you know, in a practical environment. And, yeah, we'll check back in a couple weeks, okay?
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for the words of wisdom and insight, as usual.
No problem. Take care, Boyd, and yeah, if you want to play, hit me up, okay?
All right. Have a great day.